Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rocket Live. I've got a great guest coming on the show in just a little bit. Super excited to be back after a couple weeks of not being able to go live due to just some schedule changes and things like that. But here we are again, once again, on another live stream right here. Welcome to everybody. If you're watching us here on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you're watching, welcome to the show live. And welcome to everybody who will be watching a replay of this much later on. Before we dive in, just want to give a special thanks to our title sponsor, Kerry Zarb, who is a podcast marketing coach, and she has created the 7 days of simple podcast marketing, which you can get right now by heading over to kerryzarb.com/simple. You can also use the link in the show notes for this show as well to access that directly. So head over to kerryzarb.com/simple if you want to learn how to promote your podcast. So if you're a podcaster out there and you're looking to get more visibility, you're looking to market your podcast, you're looking to really grow your audience, well, Kerry Zarb is a professional podcasting coach, and she can absolutely help you right now by heading over to kerryzarb.com/simple, 7 days of simple podcast marketing. And now, with that, I'd like to bring my guest on the show right now. I have Wendi Caplan-Carroll as my guest today. Thanks for coming on.
Oh my gosh, thank you. This is so cool. I'm live. Hello.
Yeah, you're
stressful.
Live. Yeah, it's not stressful. It's just, it's the same thing as doing it normally. We're here. We're live. If anybody would like to chat with us along the way, drop a comment, ask any questions, feel free to just do that, and we will get to them here. We'll bring them up on the on air live, and just chat with us now. Just drop it right in the comment box, and we will see them wherever you're watching this, and we'll get right to it. So, with that, Wendi, welcome to the show. So glad to have you on here. I feel like it was like 100 years ago.
It feels like that way. Yeah.
We set this date up to have you come on, but I'm so happy you're here. And I love you and I have had so many cool conversations off air about what it is that you do. And I find it just absolutely fascinating because you're involved in a few different things. And I'd love for you to have the opportunity to talk about it. So with everybody watching and listening right now, tell everybody a little bit about Wendi Caplan-Carroll.
Sure. Well, thank you. And I want to say from the very beginning, shout out to Karen Donaway from SKC, who actually introduced us.
Yes.
Karen is like one of those incredible people who just supports others.
100%.
And right. She's like so
she's
so
the
special.
Best. She's so great. Yes.
So thank you, Karen. So so I can officially say we've been in business now almost 2 years, but I'm the co-founder of an agency called SquareBiz. sq-biz.com is the website. And we specialize in a few different verticals, but my specialty is helping larger brands connect to small businesses. Mm-hmm. And our sort of whole mission is that we really believe that trusted voices drive action. And when it comes to engaging small businesses, you really need to sort of motivate these trusted voices to get out there, to refer your product, to teach, to show small businesses why they need to use your product. Mm-hmm. So those are the kind of campaigns that we put together. And over the course of the last 2 years, we've been working on a variety of different projects. But in 2008, I actually really became engaged in the small business world because I was working at a company called Constant Contact, the email marketing company. Yep. Anybody from Constant Contact watching? Hi. Because I got a ton of them that I stay in touch with. But our whole go-to-market strategy was getting out there and educating small business owners around why they needed to do email marketing. And second to that was, well, you should be using Constant Contact to do so. Right. So we engaged with hundreds. well, actually, literally 1 million small businesses we counted that we got in front of, where we educated them. And we did this through partnerships with chambers of commerce, small business development centers, different membership type organizations, that power of one to many. So I take sort of all of those learnings, those wonderful things that I applied and was successful with my team at Constant Contact. And that's what I'm offering clients today. So it's very, very exciting actually to be a small business owner myself and to be working with these larger brands and helping them, grow their businesses.
Yeah.
I also do private business coaching as well. So I have a few clients that I work with privately. So lots of good stuff.
Yeah, you're up to a lot of really cool things, and what I love in there too is that it's now that you are you've been a business owner for a little bit. It's interesting now, right? How you then begin to apply all the things you've learned and all the things you've helped other people with over the years, and now apply it towards yourself to grow your own business, which I always find to be so difficult.
I was going to say, I don't know if I'm doing a great job at that some days.
It's so easy to do it for others.
Yes.
But when it comes to doing it for ourselves, it seems to be the most incredibly hardest thing in the world to do.
It really, really is. And I know that that's something you do with your clients is you sort of help them position themselves and brand themselves, et cetera. But you're right. It really is hard to take care of yourself first. It's which is very true as human beings in general. We tend to take care of others before we take care of ourselves. It's very true as a small business owner. I need to spend that time marketing and driving sales, et cetera. But you're taking care of the clients you have and your team, et cetera.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing that too is and especially when you're working with other companies, right? So this is what I kind of want to dive into with you is the things that you're sort of seeing and the things that you're talking about with your clients. Because I know from my point of view, the things that I get often really dive into a lot with people is focusing a lot on their stories, right? The stories of the brand and the company in general, right? Because there's that story. And then there's also their personal stories as well, which are the people behind the brands, the products, the company, and especially on the smaller and medium size. The thing that I have found that works really well, for the folks that I'm working with, is being able to have those different stories, the two stories, but being able to really lean into them, because I find that this is when people were really right. It just goes back to the old adage. Everything always comes full circle, right? People do business with people they like and trust.
Yeah.
So, the more that you are willing to, and I'm not saying you got to share every aspect of your private and personal life, but there are things I think that really resonate well, because people want to know, well, who am I doing business with at the end of the day? Why should I support you and what you're doing in your mission, in your vision? Like, what are your core values as a professional? What are you bringing to the table? And I think that that's just super important for people to be like really focused on and aware of when they're out there and they're putting themselves out there. Doesn't always mean it has to be so super serious or whatever. But once again, these are your values. This is what makes you as a person, what makes you tick, and things that you're passionate about. And I think that wearing those on your sleeve and putting that out there is really important. So I'm just wondering, from your perspective, is that something you're seeing similar? Is that something you guide your clients to? Is there something else that you're doing that you're seeing works really well?
I agree with you 1,000,000%. And that's always been the way I've operated. You have to be real. You have to be who you are. I think the word being authentic is overused, but you really just be yourself, because that's who people are doing business with. So when you're talking about larger brands, sometimes it gets a little bit difficult for them. Well, how am I as a brand going to be myself? Right. So I think it really starts with them listening to what their clients and prospects are saying, what their needs are, and showing that they're actively addressing that. Like that's where it starts when it comes to a larger brand being real. Addressing the needs and the values of who they're trying to serve is really, really very key. So we definitely have those conversations. I think right now, brands are, they're struggling a little bit to break through the clutter.
Yeah, I
There's
mean, it's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
noise
noise.
out
Yeah.
there. Yeah, it's a lot of noise. People are living in this is a really weird, it's a really weird time,
Yeah, these
right?
unprecedented times.
Yeah, we keep saying it, and like every year, like we're at the end of another year, and like a lot has changed. A lot is kind of feeling like it was March 2020 again.
Has it gotten any less weird?
No, it's pretty weird. So it's just been interesting trying to help brands, show their compassion, give back to their clients, help businesses succeed. One of the beautiful things I have really, well, I've known this all along, but what's
Right.
really been solidified through the last months and years is just the power of small business owners and the resiliency, the
Yeah.
passion, right? Like just the way businesses, I mean, everybody's talked about this, but the way businesses pivoted during this
Mhm.
weird time, it's
Yeah.
pretty amazing, right?
It's truly amazing. I think it speaks to the uniqueness, the versatility, the fortitude, and just the
Yeah.
will, the will to make it happen under, extreme circumstances. I mean, from what's going on to things we can control to things we cannot control, and still try to operate within, between the lines, outside the lines. It's just like,
And also like small business owners like need to like pat themselves on the back. I mean, wow, like
yeah.
everything that people are doing and just, being able to keep the lights on and keep leaning into their passions and delivering solid experiences and great product, etc. I think it's exciting, and it does make me feel better at the end of the day when everything else seems to be like, oh, just thinking about the excitement. For me personally, I love what I do,
Yeah.
and I love being able to help these businesses serve the clients that they're trying to serve. Like it really is my passion.
Mhm.
And so that drives me definitely every day. And I do try to share that, and I try to share that passion because that's what makes Wendi who she is.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think you made a lot of great points there. And I think that the the fortitude and perseverance of the small businesses that, I mean, many of the ones that I encounter have gone from, a lot of times, and one of the, I mean, I love hearing this, is that, at the start of 2021, I was basically at zero. And now I'm wrapping up the year, like still, I'm at 100, like I'm cruising. And I love hearing that, because it means, yes, like you stuck it through, you made it, but now that generates another issue, which is, now that you've experienced this growth, or this tremendous growth, this fast growth, excellent. So now your next challenge is, can you maintain it? How do you maintain it? Obviously, trending forecasting, will it last?
Yeah.
So you've really got to, kind of look into the crystal ball a little bit and use data that you have the best you can. I mean, this is all we ever do as business owners, is you just look to the data and say, now how do I make decisions moving forward into Q1, Q2? Like, what's going to happen? How do I retain the new clients I onboarded this year? Is everybody a one and done? Where can I build the relationships? And this is the key stuff. It's very exciting. I mean, growing your business has got to be one of the most exciting, exhilarating things, especially if you come from a down, really down, and now you're at these heights, right? But whenever there's a hill or a mountain, there's bound to be a valley at some point. So, preparing for, I wouldn't say prepare for the worst, but be prepared, right? Really start looking at your data and trying to figure out, well, what's plan B? What's plan C? Because listen, the good times don't always last as
No.
long as you think they are. And I'm interested to hear like what your take is on that, or what your advice would be for looking into that for people who have experienced exponential growth this year because of everything that's happened, and what kind of advice are you sharing with them going into now, moving into 2022 and beyond?
Well, I think it's really about making the time to be
Mm,
strategic and look at your business strategically,
yes,
and
yes.
that's really kind of where it all starts. And I have
Yeah.
to say, some days I don't necessarily do that. I had a great conversation. My business partner, David, and I last week, we sat down and we started looking at things, and we walked away going, wow, this really feels good to have done this.
Yeah.
But it's really a matter of, for us, it's like looking at each individual client that we're working with and understanding what we have done for them, where the opportunity is, where the growth opportunity with them is, and then kind of creating a business plan for each client.
Right.
And I'm not saying it has to be anything big or fancy, but just really having a plan for each client where you see the opportunities. And one of the cool things I think about what we're trying to build here is that we have multiple opportunities that we can offer our clients, whether it's creating a local campaign where we're going to do grassroots outreach for them,
Mm-hmm.
or we also have a media group that helps us place advertising. And
Right.
we do a lot of endorsement radio and podcasting. So we have different types of opportunities to enable us to build the portfolio within each client that we're working with. So we try to take the time to look at that.
Yeah.
And then just think of new and exciting ways and people. I'm all about the power of partnership, right? Who else can we partner with? Does it make sense to partner with another agency? Does it make sense to diversify and offer a different, service that we're experts at? So, we're trying to take a look at all that. And again, it starts with making the time to do so.
Yeah. I love that, especially what you said, make the time, because I think, and listen, I know, once again, it's exciting to be busy. It's exciting to have a lot going on, but really making the time to sit and think about what's happening now, what did happen, and where it's going to go or where it could go based on the data. You really need to put the time in to sit and think about it, because especially if you're the owner of a business, well, guess what? No one else is going to do that. No one else is capable of doing it in your business. It's on you. Now, once you get those ideas, delegating, bringing your team, involving your team, absolutely 100%. But it has to start with you, because if you look behind you, there's really no one else. It's just you, and you have to make the time to do that. You really do. That's one of the things that I definitely learned, coming up in business for all these years. One of the things I've always learned, and this was something my mentor told me very early on when I started, and things never resonate with you right away. It's only after you get a little older and wiser that you begin to go, oh yeah, that's something you should do, which was always like, sit and think, make the time to sit and think about things. And that's why I love what you just said, because it really starts with that, is sitting and thinking and looking at it and being, looking at the opportunities, what happened, where can it go, what do we have in front of us, and beginning to then put a strategy together moving forward. Because once again, I think as fun as it is, as exciting as it is, especially if you had a really it got tough and lean, and you got, close to, maybe closing the doors to, like, wow, now fast growth and things are coming in and dollars rolling in, and I've got awesome dream clients and the team is growing and blah, 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 all these things. It's very, very cool. But with that comes now the thought process of,
how do you maintain, how do you grow, and how do you just balance your life where you're not constantly thinking about it either, right?
Exactly.
But it's really interesting, because as you were talking, I was thinking, like, I have tried in the past, honestly, like I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur and have my own business. I've always been inspired by small business owners, and I wanted to be one of them as well. And I jumped into it, and then I got scared and I jumped right back to a corporate job. Right. So this time this is it for me, right? Like, I am going to make this work. I am going to build this. And, some days it's not easy. It's not easy to maintain your enthusiasm. It's really easy to get anxious about things. Again, especially with, like, the world around us as well. So it's like being able to isolate all the noise around you. And really, like, having faith in yourself and in your abilities and what you can bring, and, not underestimate yourself. That's really, really important. Do never, ever underestimate yourself.
Yeah, I love that. It's really realizing that, you have power, and to use it, and to start really like now more than ever to really recognize your strengths not as weaknesses and use them. You use
That's
everything that
right.
you have within your own arsenal of yourself and put that forward and lean into it, because now more than ever is especially the time to do it and go for it,
That's
because
right.
yeah.
That's right. And I will say, I think this was something that when we first spoke, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not going to out myself about how old I am, but I'm definitely
Yeah.
a little bit older than I was a couple
You're
years ago.
you're
I'm a little bit
seasoned
older.
and
I'm more seasoned,
experienced.
but it's not like, so that's something I really want people to understand. Like, you can be over 50 years old and start anew. You have experience. People trust you because you do have that experience.
Right.
So for me, like being over 50 years old, I feel accomplished and I feel confident that I can really, really help some businesses and help people be
Yeah.
successful. So I'm like leaning into my seniority a little bit and my experience.
Yeah, but I think that's so super important for people to hear and understand, because it is a strength, and it should not be looked at as a weakness or anything like that, because listen, this is, we grow, right?
We
Where
grow.
I was 20 years ago is not where I am now, and what I knew 20 years ago isn't what I know now, and there isn't a shortcut to gaining that knowledge and to living through those experiences, because that having to live through that and go through it, grow, learn the lessons from the things that we've done is part of the process, and there's just no skipping it. You can't just
No,
like create a business and then 6 months later say I've learned everything there is to know about
no,
business and life. It just doesn't happen that way.
it
Listen, I
doesn't.
think we all wish we could gain that knowledge that fast, which is why people like ourselves are out there to take, like, listen, we're here to help you shorten that gap, to help shorten that learning curve a little bit, because we can give you the advice, the knowledge, and share our experiences that we've had to help you grow your businesses. Now, I can't give you every single answer, but I can certainly help, and same thing with you. And like, but this is where, having gone through the things that we've gone through and lived through and the lessons we've learned, can help
Yes,
others
that's right. That's right.
along their
Yeah.
journey.
So don't be, anybody that's watching and you feel like you're, past a certain point and starting your entrepreneurial lifestyle, please don't think that way at all.
No, no.
Actually, that is your strength. That is
Yes.
your strength.
100% it is a power, and and there's only there's only so much you can learn from a book, and there's only so much you can learn from sitting inside of a classroom. You really have to do it, and the thing is, you have learned and been through things that are unique to you, and that is knowledge, and knowledge is power, and people need knowledge. People need access to those things. And so while some people may think they know it all, there's also people who are also willing to learn, and it's just a matter of them finding you and you finding them. And this is why you have to put yourself out there. You have to
And
talk,
tell
you
your
have to
story. And
share.
this
Yeah.
goes back to you in the beginning. This is about you, sharing your story. Like,
Right.
don't, because your story is what makes you
Hmm.
authentic. It's what makes you you. It's what makes you, it makes you who you are. And those are the experiences that you have to service and help others be successful. So
Right.
share your story.
Yeah, 100% share your story, because it is, here's how it works. I mean, really, when you pare it down, is like, and well, I'll just use social media as the example, because it's what we all see, it's what we all have access to 24/7, and it doesn't matter what platform you're on or what platform you choose to use. But basically, it works like this: people are on these platforms. More people, I'm going to quote my friend Joe Applebaum, more people are lurkers than they are actual, like, engaged users on a platform. Most people will not like, they won't comment, but they'll scroll, they'll watch, they'll read, they'll listen, but they're not going to really do much of anything else. When you share your story, when you put your story out there, you're reaching those people. And oftentimes, again, they will not engage, they won't like, they won't comment, but they're listening and
They're
they're
listening.
watching and they're
Mhm.
absorbing. And when you share your story, when you put your stories out there, now you have the potential of making that connection,
That's
because
right.
people hear that story and they go, "Oh, that person is saying the thing that resonates with me, or I went through that experience. I'm glad I don't feel so alone anymore, or that's exactly who I'm looking for. That's who I need to help me in my business. And then from there, then they'll make that next step. Maybe they'll reach out. Maybe they'll sign up for your email list. Maybe they'll go to your website. Maybe they'll follow you on LinkedIn or wherever you are. But the point of the story, once again, is that you have to share your story. You have to put yourself out there to connect with the right people. And until you do that, they're just not going to find you. It just doesn't happen like that.
No. And I think, well, that's one of the advantages of sort of like we're all kind of stuck behind a screen these days, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're spending more time on social. So get up. And you know what? As you're saying this, I'm like, I got to do a better job of sharing my story. Like that is, again, putting the time to share my story is going to be, when I am finished this, I'm going to make a plan for myself to make sure that I'm doing more of that, because again, that's how we build trust. That's how we build confidence. And again, we do business with people, products, and services that we trust, that we know and we trust. We need to continue to build that trust. In a very untrusting time in our lives, we have the ability to help people trust us.
Yep, absolutely. And it's huge. And so, no matter what it is that you're doing, if you're out there in person, if you're on any of these platforms, just take the time to do it. And just when you go, I don't know what to post about, I don't know what to talk about, share your story.
Yeah.
How did you get to where you are? What was it like when you started your business? What is it like after you started your business? What was your experience when you were working for somebody? Like, what were the lessons you have learned throughout your life when you have done certain things? That's all part of sharing your story. And that's the stuff that people want to read and resonate with, because even though we all know we're not alone, we all know, but the feeling of being alone, the feeling that no one else is going through what I'm going through, that's what it is. And when you read something, you see something, you hear it, or you watch it, and you go, I'm so happy to know that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. And I know I'm not the only one, but it's that camaraderie that you get.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Just be real, be honest.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to reach out to someone new. But I think something also that I mentioned earlier, it's really important to listen and really listen to people. Like, what are they talking about? What's on their mind? Because I think that helps you connect with people. Understanding what's going on in their lives, what their needs, what's happening, you can better serve them. So I really do try to make a real intention of listening to people very deeply. That's something I try to do in every conversation I have. And when I'm scrolling, I'm reading, but I'm listening to what people are having to say.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is really listening to people. And it's like, you don't always have to be the last word or the first word. Like, just listen to what people are saying, because it's something that we're sharing knowledge, we're sharing value, and you may learn something from hearing your story or hearing someone else's story. And that's the goal, and that's why when you and I have just been talking about it for the last 30 minutes, which is like, step into your power, use who you are, lean into those things, because that's the thing that's the differentiator. And that's the thing that ultimately will be the thing that will probably connect you to the person or people or audience or whoever that you want to connect with. And that's the that to me is the real key.
It makes you unforgettable. That's what as you were talking,
Yes.
That's what makes you unforgettable. I'll tell you a funny story. Years ago, I was presenting. I remember exactly where I was. I was in New Jersey at the Edison Convention Center, and there was probably 100 people in the room. Plus, I was doing an email marketing presentation for Constant Contact. And I was using my hands, and I scratched my back for a minute, and I felt the tag on the back of my dress on the outside of my dress, which means my dress was on inside out. Okay, so here I am, a room filled with people, and I'm like, okay, thinking to myself, what do I do? I have three options. Number one, I could say nothing, but the entire time I'm doing the presentation, I'd be thinking about it, so I wouldn't really be in the presentation. I'd be thinking about my dress. The second thing is I could say, I'm going to take a break now, excuse me, and leave the room and give a break. Or the third thing I said to myself was, I'm going to make this a teachable moment. So I stopped speaking and I said, all right, folks, I need to tell you something. My dress is on inside out. And everybody laughed. And I said, I'm not changing because I am teaching you right now that you will never forget the woman with her dress on inside out. I'm being real, I'm being honest, and I am now unforgettable. So I always like to share the advice of be the person with the dress on inside out and let them all know because you're going to be unforgettable.
I love that. I love that. It's so true. I mean, just own it. It is what it is. We're human beings. Just own it. And
Yeah,
yes, and
exactly.
you're unforgettable, and
I'm unforgettable.
and that's fine. And but there's a lot of takeaways from that. You're unforgettable. You're honest. You're just being yourself. Like you didn't, and you didn't try to like hide it, or it's just hey, it is what it is. What are you gonna do?
That's
There's
right.
worse things in life.
Then a
Um,
dress on inside
yeah,
out.
than a dress on inside out. Yeah, it's embarrassing, but it's not. It's not permanent.
No.
It's not permanent. So I love this. So before we wrap it up, I want to make sure that everybody who's watching and listening right now, once again, has the opportunity to connect with you. So for those of you watching, we have Wendy's website up, which is sq-biz.com. Of course, you'll be able to click that in the show notes if you're listening to this. So all these links that we've been talking about will be in the show notes and very easy for you to click on. But Wendy, why don't you let everybody know what's the best way to connect with you
Sure.
and who are you looking to connect with?
Sure. Okay. So I am looking to connect with anyone that is really trying to serve small business owners and generally speaking, mid to larger size companies that are looking to connect with entrepreneurs and small business owners.
Mhm.
That is my sweet spot. But we are also working with folks who are trying to make a splash on using podcasts, like breaking through podcasts and terrestrial radio with
Right.
live endorsements. So if anybody is really looking to speak with a media agency for help with that, and believe it or not, something that's not quite my expertise, but more my partners, we do clinical trial and patient recruitment in the
Mhm.
healthcare vertical. So if you are just looking for trusted voices to help drive your products or your services, please talk to us. And again, I also do some business coaching and, some one-on-one time is always available as well.
Excellent. Very good.
So,
Well,
so where to
oh,
find
good.
me? You can find me on my LinkedIn. So will you have that LinkedIn?
Yep, everything
So
will be in everything will be in the show notes. So people will be able to click if they're listening to this right now, they'll be able to click in the show notes and connect with you
awesome.
in all the spots. So
And then
LinkedIn
you
is
can email me at wendi@sq-biz.com. So it's Wendy with an I at the end.
awesome. No, this is great. I really appreciate you coming on today. This
I
was
thank you.
wonderful.
No, this was so fun. Thank you so much. I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah, well, I'm grateful for you coming on and spending some time with us and sharing some of your great information and I definitely urge everybody out there if you like what you heard here today and you like what Wendy had to say to definitely reach out to Wendy and even if it's just to say hey, what's up? Hi, how are you?
I'm always looking for new friends.
Yes. So, don't feel like that if you don't actually have business for her today that you
Yeah,
shouldn't reach
no,
out. No, definitely connect and definitely say hi. And of course, you can always connect with me and say hi to me as well. I'm always happy to talk to people. So, so 100% definitely use all the links in the show notes to connect with Wendy and find out some more information about how she can help you in your business. Or if you know anybody that could use Wendy's help, please feel free to reach out and still connect with her anyway and make that referral, make that introduction. That just about wraps it up for us here on Rocket Live. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening and watching to the show live today. Thank you to all of you who are going to be watching and listening to the replay of this. And of course, feel free to hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you are watching or listening to this show right now. The audio version of this is available on all places where you can listen to podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. And the best way to help support the show is to hit that follow button so that way you get notified every single time we upload a new episode to any of those platforms. Also, another great way to support the show as well is to head over to the link that's scrolling here on the screen or in the show notes. Head over to buymeacoffee.com/CVaglio and feel free to leave me a buy me a coffee or a little tip, because heck, there's some bills that you got to pay around here, and every little bit of that helps. And if you're looking to connect with me directly and get access to my mailing list and all my free downloads and all that stuff, you can actually do that right now by texting the words "Let's Rock," all one word, "Let's Rock," to 88500, and you will have direct access to all of my contact information, which you can save onto your phone. And you can also send me your information, so that way we're connected. Plus, you'll have access to all kinds of links to my personal branding guide, to my personal branding quiz, to my mailing list, and all kinds of other great, fun stuff. So do that. Head over to just text the words "Let's Rock" to 88500. And to wrap it up, I want to thank my show sponsor, once again, Kerry Zarb, 7 days of simple podcast marketing, which you can get right now by heading over to kerryzarb.com/simple or clicking the link in the show notes. And so if you are a podcaster and you're looking to get out there and you're looking to market your podcast, Kerry Zarb has it all figured out. So head over to kerryzarb.com/simple. And for all things Chris Vaglio in the world of Rocket Growth Agency, you can go over to rocketgrowthagency.com. So with that, Wendi, once again, thank you so much for coming on today. Really appreciate you and your time.
Thank you. Feel well. Happy Hanukkah.
Yes.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy Kwanzaa.
All
Let's
the things.
just have a safe and healthy New Year, please.
Yes.
That's
well said. Let's end 2021 all being very healthy.
Enough already.
Yeah.
Enough already. Everybody stay safe.
Yes.
And thank you. And I look forward to connecting. And thank you again.
Yeah, you got it. I appreciate you. And once again, I appreciate all of you who have been listening and watching to us live. And thanks again for watching the replay. Appreciate all of your support. We'll see you guys here next week for another episode of Rocket Live. Remember, always be authentic, always be yourself, and always remember to rock it.
Yeah. Rock it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.